Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. In today's video, we are going to be looking at the top 5 best survival tips for Path of Titans. Obviously, this is for a more semi-realism and realism gameplay aspect. Anyway, if you are new here, make sure to like and subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload, or if you just like my content and you want to see more of it. Starting off with food, the first survival tip. So, when you're playing this game, you can't always expect to have enough food unless you're playing a herbivore or a semi-aquatic like Spinosaurus or Suchomimus or even Kawakia, because fish are plentiful, berries are plentiful, nuts, flowers, fruit, all of that. You can easily find it. However, when you're playing large carnivores such as Tyrannosaurus and Tyranotitan, especially these two, who only have one diet and can only eat fresh meat, it's really difficult. Now, I know you may be saying, but critters are everywhere, and even alpha critters are pretty common now. The issue is, even an alpha critter that drops the most food doesn't really fill up Tyrannotitan or T-Rex. It does a good chunk, but it's not enough to sustain itself. And that kind of sucks because it means if there's no players around, and there's no critters around, you're gonna starve, and there's nothing you can do. Except there is. So, if you are playing a dinosaur like a carnivore and you're starving, there's nothing to eat around, here's the best tip I can offer you. Eat salt rocks. The glorious salt rocks. They are amazing. They have saved my life in game so many times. They respawn incredibly quick. And they just, for some reason, salt rocks fill up hunger pretty good, like really good, better than critters. Now, I know a lot of people don't like to eat the salt rocks because it gives you a thirst drain thing, it makes your thirst drain quicker. However, there are ways to counter this. So, and the ways you can counter this is going to the right places. Salt rocks, they're abundant. They spawn nearly everywhere across Gondor. And, you know, again, with the water debuff thing where it drains your water, it's insane. However, if we go to places like hot springs, you will see there is loads of salt rocks here, there's some up here, there's more way over there, and this is all fresh water. You can drink this, which means, sure, I get the salt debuff, but I can just drink the water right back. Problem solved. And especially hot springs because it's healing water. So let's say you was dying of hunger and your health has gone down. Come here, eat the salt rocks, stand in the water and drink it. You heal quicker whilst being able to fill your hunger and thirst. It is wonderful. But this is not the only place. You can also go to White Cliffs. And White Cliffs is especially different because it is just so far away from everything. Hot Springs, kind of in the middle of the map. White Cliffs, this place especially is on the very edge next to the ocean, but there's salt here, there's more over there, and even more somewhere over there. And again, just like Hot Springs, unfortunately this isn't healing water, but just like Hot Springs, this is drinkable fresh water, and it just counteracts it so much. It just means that you can eat salt as these things, like Tyranotitan and T-Rex, and unfortunately, that's gonna keep you alive better than critters, because critters, they're weird. Whilst we go to the next location, I just want to talk about how unbalanced critters are. They add literally no food sustenance for anything larger than like a Deinonychus or a Chilobata between there. And yet they're able to kill T-Rexes and stuff. I think it's busted. But anyway, Whistling Columns is the next location. So, a lot of you might not know, but this little pond, which is right here on the map, is fully fresh water. It attaches itself to the Green Hills River. This is all fresh water. There's a few salt rocks around here. This is the main one. And yeah, it's a nice quiet place. And like I say, salt rocks, they respawn incredibly quick, so this single one would still be able to sustain even the largest of carnivores. And the final location which I would recommend going to if you're starving as one of these things is Triad Falls. Again, loads of salt rocks, clean fresh water for you to drink. Now, just a little bit of a recap, because I know this section's been a bit long. This is more so if you can't eat anything, like there's the wrong type of food, you know, like bones, carrion, and you can't eat that. Or if there's no prey and you're starving and critters just aren't doing it. Salt rocks are the way to go. Alderon, never nerf salt rocks. They are too good and they're so essential for the current state of the game. Next up, we have got hunting and hiding. So again, more realism type tip, but if you are trying to hide from something or even hunt something, you know, stalk it from the bushes, you should probably crouch. A lot of people tend not to do this. The most times I've seen people crouch is when they're teabagging or trying to be friendly, which I guess it kind of works, but let's say I saw a triceratops or an eotrike or something over there, and I wanted to hunt it. I would simply crouch like this and hide in the bushes and the tree line. That way, it can't see me clearly, but I can keep my eyes on it, since this isn't a first-person game. And it also, crouching also does a major thing where it covers up your footsteps, especially with how Alderon has changed it. So Alderon has made it so footsteps are way louder and can be heard from way further away, depending on what size dinosaur you are. And unfortunately, Allosaurus fits into that category. And, you know, crouching just makes your footsteps so much quieter. Now, I know not every dinosaur crouches really quickly or gets as low as Allo. That does kind of suck, but it is still worth it rather than just letting your prey know you're near. The amount of hunts I have failed because I didn't crouch and they heard me coming, like, even if there's no bushes, let's say someone's sleeping just at the top of this hill and I see them, crouching like this, even if it's not in a bush, will still manage to get me closer than if I just sprint instantly, because it just, you get alerted way easier if you just sprint at someone. And also, another thing I want to bring up is skins. So a lot of people don't think skins matter. However, if you're using a bright green or bright pink or yellow, I don't know, any dinosaur like Suchomimus, you're not going to kill anything. You're not going to be hunting or ambushing anything. Even in murky water, you're not going to be hunting anything. You're just going to be spotted and you're going to die. Or your prey's going to run away. However, there is ways to fix this by using the darker color spectrum. So darker browns and greens, those types of colors can really blend in. And as an example of this, I have set up this little scene. So I'm just going to let you guys have a little look-see at it. I'm not going to move the camera. It's not paused. This is just in replay mode. My Allosaurus is in this picture. Can you see it? Can you see it? Genuinely, if you can, you have really good eyes, or you cheated. But if you can see it, leave a comment down below saying you can see it, and give me the timestamp now. But this is like, you generally can't make this up. Look at that. The Allosaurus is right here, completely hidden. Just because of the green coloring, it is just perfectly blended in. I could have taken a shot like that, or even like this, and you probably still would have missed it. Like, can you see the aloe there? I mean, obviously you can, but if it was your first time looking at that, you wouldn't know. And I just think that's insane, because, like, imagine if I'm like let's say a Struthy here, and I'm just running around, and I decide I'm just gonna sit here, you know, I want to sit here in the little opening. There's an Allosaurus like 10 feet away from me, and I'm just sat here as a Struthy. He's going to run out there, one-shot me before I can move. And I think that shows how important the colors of, or the skin choices people use in this game are. Especially when it comes to hunting and trying to get prey. The third survival tip I can offer, now this is probably one of, if not the most important ones, and the one I see a lot of people making the mistake of. Your stamina. Your stamina is probably one of the most important things you can have in Path of Titans. Whether it's for your abilities or just maneuvering around, your stamina is key. And most people will do what I'm doing right now. Not even like in a fight or anything, they will just run around because they want to get to new locations quicker, faster, so they can kill more or be around more people. And I understand that, that's fine, but when it comes to surviving in this game, if you're, let's say I'm a Miragaya, like you can currently see, and I'm being chased by something like I don't know, a T-Rex. And let's say I've just used all of my stamina and I'm now on like 5 stamina. I will have to trot or sit to get all my stamina back. That T-Rex, he has 50 seconds of stamina. It can chase me down for 50 seconds. If I've used all my stamina, it's over. And that's on me. I should have been able to run, but I used my stamina. Just for no reason, just completely wasted it. And for those of you who are wondering, sure, you might be quicker than what's trying to chase you. But if you don't have your stamina, you are not going to survive that long. Now, I know stamina is key for more than that as well. For attacks that have like venom, bone break, toxin, stuff like that. Stamina is probably the most key thing for surviving in this game, which is why whenever I play a semi-realism server like Crimson or something like Dynasty, I will never usually sprint around like a lunatic. I will usually trot and just keep on moving. It's best to keep moving because otherwise carnivores end up knowing where you are and finding you. But at the same time, even if I'm a carnivore myself, I still manage my stamina because if I see something I want to kill and I've used all my stamina, oh no, I can't chase it anymore. I have to wait and it'll just get to run away. So I think stamina is probably one of, if not the biggest things to keep an eye on, because I see this so often. Oh, I'm an Allosaurus. I've used all my stamina. This T-Rex killed me. It should be nerfed. No, you used all your stamina. That's on you. Which sucks, I know, but hey ho, that's part of the game. And for the fourth tip, you join me in the sky. We're nearly there. So the fourth tip, this one is a little bit more obvious, but it's to do with location. So obviously, when you're a solo player, you don't want to go to popular locations too often, such as like Grand Plains, Green Valley, those types of places. You don't want to go there all the time, because you will just get ganked by a group, and it's unfair. I'll give you that. It's unfair, but it's survival. So at the same time, kind of supposed to be. You're supposed to avoid the popular places. And I know, again, there's a struggle for food and all that, but I've already talked about that. Anyway, so, the way I see it, the more people you're grouped with, so if I'm grouped with, like, one person, or let's say I'm grouped with 0 people, I'll go to places like Hoodoo Expense, Desolate Pass, Hunter's Thicket. If I'm grouped with 2 or more, up to a group of 3, so 2 to 3, then I'll move into Titan's Pass and maybe even Grand Plains a little bit. Just the more people you have, the more populated places you can go to and be more safe. Because safety in numbers, you're stronger, look more intimidating, stuff like that. Which, again, I know a lot of people do play this game and they just kind of want to go and explore and see other players and look at them. But when it comes to surviving in Path of Titans, that's not going to work all the time. It might work sometimes because we have Care Bears, but it's not going to work all the time. So, it's best to always make sure that depending on how many people you're with, you know where to go to kind of match up against the amount of players that will be in those locations. Also, a little bonus tip. So let me just come over here. So let's say you're solo and you don't want to get water from Big Quill or Green Valley. If you open your map and just zoom in a little bit on places like Stego Mountain or Hoodoo, you can see these little blue circles. There's one here, and then there's even one up here. Those are fresh water. And that's not the only places with them. We've got one in Darkwoods, we've got one in Wilderness Peak, I think that place is called. I always forget. And there's even one in Rainbow Hills down here. So there's plenty of fresh water that solo players can get. Oh, there's also one in Birchwoods. And it just... I feel like that they're less known because most people will just go to Grand Plains River and get a drink, or Titan's Pass Lake, or I don't know, just popular places, and it ends up getting them killed. And finally, the last tip I have for surviving is terrain. The terrain is key in nearly every aspect of this game. Combat, escaping things, looking for food. The terrain is important. And I feel like you should especially look out for things like, let's say I'm on the water's edge. The water can be your friend or your enemy. Now, obviously, I know servers have rules, but, looking past those, let's say a group of raptors tries to attack my stego. There's like 5 Deinonychuses. Let's say I don't feel like I could take them. Something I can simply do is stand in this water knee-high, so I'm not swimming, and every time they will try and attack me, they will either pounce me, I can buck them off in the water, kill them, or they'll try and jump and attack me and get stuck in the water and I can kill them. Or they will give up knowing that they cannot get to me without an insane risk of death. However, the water does come at a cost because it's water. What lives in water? Sarcosuchus. And because I'm near the water, it could be used as a trap so a Sarco can kill me. I remember in one of my past videos, it was a Picnomanosaurus one, there was 2 Sarcos. They laid a fresh piece of meat here, right here in this spot, like just from a body, just a piece of meat, and they used it to ambush me. I thought it was free food, went for it, and they used it as a trap to ambush me. That's how dangerous the water in this game is. That was the smartest play I've ever seen. It didn't work, but it was incredibly smart. And, you can also use stuff like rocks and hills. So for rocks, raptors and stuff can jump on top of them to escape predators, or even a failed hunt. So if they attack a Styrac and it goes mad and starts winning, they can just sit on a rock and ignore it. Or uphills. A lot of dinos have gotten the ability to ignore uphills recently, or they've gained an ability to do so. That is insanely good. Let's say I'm something that has that. I think Suchomimus has it. Let's say I'm a Sucho, and I'm being chased down by, I don't know, something like a T-Rex with its ambush, which would be quicker than Sucho. It can find a hill, so let's say this happens in Green Hills or something. I can use my Sucho to run up those hills. That T-Rex gets slowed down. I do not. And then I'm able to make it to somewhere safer or gain enough distance until the speed boosts or the predator or something just loses its way and can no longer keep up and chase me. Which I think is kind of fantastic. Anyway, I don't know. So, yes, thank you all so much for watching. I really do hope you enjoyed this video and that it was helpful. Because this is mainly a video to help people who are new to the game or just in general trying to figure out survival servers, because a lot of people do like deathmatch. But yeah, let me know if you want to see a video covering deathmatch servers and gameplay, because I might be up for that. Anyway, yes, if you are new here and you enjoyed the video, please make sure to like and subscribe, and also turn on notifications so you can see more from me. Anyway, have a wonderful day. Take care, everyone, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.